Good afternoon, Chris Whelan here from the Center of Business Excellence. I want to talk to you today about something that a number of my clients have been dealing with over the last several weeks. In fact, probably over the last several months, but they've certainly brought it to light over the last little while. And that is leadership and influencing rather than doing. Why is that important to them? Well, for a number of them, a number of my clients are moving from doing the work themselves to the next generation, maybe succession planning, or their leadership team needs to do more, or they want to move into more governance roles. So more, wouldn't say a corporate structure at all, but a more formalized structure where the business owner is now the chairperson of the business, or he or she is no longer physically on the tools, but actually sitting back and getting their teams to be more productive, getting their business to get running and operating by influence rather than by doing. So a massively important topic in every sphere. The question, of course, is who are you influencing? In the case that I've just given, they'll be influencing their teams, but it's also their teams, it's their stakeholders outside of the business, it's their suppliers, it's their customers, obviously, and it could be, you might be listening to this, you might be watching this now, and actually could be in your family, it could be in your local community. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, absolutely. All right, let me repeat that because it's pretty important. Leadership is about influence, nothing more, nothing less. And what we're seeing in the business community is that people are wanting to do get more done without physically doing it themselves, right? So that's very important. Mastering your ability to positively influence people, mastering the ability to positively influence people is the key to personal and professional growth, right? Massively, massively important. I've already asked who do you want to influence, and whether it be your team, your staff, or other people. That's obviously very key. And then the point is that leadership is really not, it's absolutely not about position. It's very much about people. And when you go down the road of trying to influence from position, there's probably 4 or 5. I think it's 5. I'll stick with 5 now. 5 different methods of influence, and I'll go through them one by one. The first one I've already touched on, positional influence, right? We follow because we have to. We have no choice. The person's our boss or whatever it might be. So it's a positional influencing, and the person relies on their position to get things done. That's the first one. The second one is force, right? Where there's no choice at all, right? Maybe command and control structure. Maybe you think of the military or something like that. It's a forceful thing. The third one is intimidation. It's my way or it's the highway. Problem with intimidation, of course, is it leads to total disengagement. The fourth way is manipulation, right? Where someone wins and someone else loses. So in a situation of influence, if through manipulation, one person wins or one group wins, the other one loses. That's not really great either. The fifth way, and the way that I would like to encourage you to consider, is by exchange, where both parties win. It's a win-win situation rather than a win-lose. So you've got to ask yourself, why do I want to influence? And my comment would be, once you answer that question, you can then know how to do it. Because the key thing is that trust is massively, massively important. Leadership without trust is nothing more than, or nothing less than, coercion. I think it was Stephen Covey that made the point that trust and the speed at which it's established with clients and with employees and with all the other groups that I've already mentioned, trust and the speed with which it's established is the essential ingredient for any high-performing organization, for any high-performing team. If you establish trust, people know that they can trust you. Massively important. People really want to know 3 things. 1, do you care about me, right? And it's about me that comes through there. Do you care about me? 2, can you help me? And the third one is, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Can you help me? Do I trust you? If all 3 of those have got ticks, you're on the great path and you're going on the right path to keep moving forward through influence rather than through doing all the work yourself. It's interesting because in that context, you can achieve so much more when you can be if you like, the orchestra conductor. Imagine the orchestra conductor had to play every instrument in the orchestra. He or she couldn't. But by holding that baton, they can conduct the entire orchestra. And that's what influence is really about. And that's what leadership is about. So that raises the question, how do you increase your influence? And I think it's a very simple answer, really. You increase your influence by adding value. Adding value firstly to yourself, because you become more valuable to others. And then, of course, adding value directly to others, whether it be as employees, whether it be your family, whether it be people in your community. If you can help them, if you can serve them in some way, you increase your influence because you're actually adding value to them. The point, just before we move off this, about adding value to yourself, the only limit, or the biggest limit that I've seen to business growth, to organizational growth, is not external factors. It's limits inside ourselves. right? So adding value to yourself, becoming better at what you do, that increases value to others because you become more valuable, and then of course you can influence as well. So I'm going to give you what I call the reflection starter kit, right? There's a reflection starter kit. If you ask yourself these 3 questions every day for the next 7 days and reflect on them, I guarantee you will increase your influence. Firstly, what went well? Very simple question, right? What went well? What went wrong? What went right? What went wrong? What went well? What went badly? Question 1, question 2. And then the third question, the big one. What do I need to do? What do you need to do differently? Right? When you reflect on those things, what went well? What went badly? What do you need to do differently? And you actively change your behavior, that's when you increase your influence. If you lead yourself better, others will follow. That's my encouragement to you. Whether you're in business, whether you're in a non-profit organization, whether you're in a public sector entity, whether you're in your local community, do those 3 things and you will absolutely grow in leadership, and you'll grow in influence. You'll become more of a person of influence, and you'll be able to get more done without doing it all yourselves, right? Massively important. Have a fantastic week. All the very best. And if you want to know more, jump onto the link down below, set up some time. Let's have a quick chat and see what this means for you. All the very best. Cheers.